A very good morning, one and all. Myself, I am Dr. Siddharth Verma, working as an associate professor in the Department of Periodontology. So, at this outset, I thank the organizing team for providing me this opportunity to present my paper in front of all of you. So, I'm here today to present a topic on Go Green, the periodontal care in the natural way. So I take this opportunity to extend greetings from the place I work. So this is the place where I work, School of Dental Sciences, a part of KIMS deemed university in a place called Karad in Maharashtra of India. So coming to the introduction, we all know dental caries and periodontal diseases are the most significant dental problems worldwide, even though there are other conditions like oral cancers, which are also of a major concern. Periodontal disease, which comprises gingivitis and periodontitis, is a common oral infection that affects the tissues that surround and support the teeth. So there was this study in 2016 by Lancet, where they found out that severe periodontal disease was the 11th most prevalent condition in the world. And the prevalence of periodontal disease was reported to range from 20 to 50% across various countries. Now, just going into some more brief statistics. One of the major causes of tooth loss, which can compromise the aesthetics of a patient, the self-confidence and quality of life, is periodontitis. And globally, periodontal diseases accounted for 3.5 million years lived with disability as per the 2016 reports. So that can be considered to be a pretty huge loss of years. Now, when you compare it across the various decades, so the study shows from the period of 1990 to 2010, there was a significant 57.3% increase in the global burden of periodontal disease. In 2010, the worldwide loss of productivity due to severe periodontitis was estimated to be an astonishing $54 billion per year. So the global prevalence of periodontal disease is expected to increase in the coming years due to the growth in aging population and increased retention of natural teeth, due to which a significant reduction in tooth loss can be seen in the older population. So the different segments of population are disproportionately affected with periodontal disease. Evidence has suggested there is an inverse relationship between income and periodontal disease. It was reported that low-income individuals had 1.8 times increased odds of severe periodontal disease than the high-income individuals. Periodontal disease inequalities exist among age groups as well, with majority of elderly population being involved, where we have 82%, followed by 73% of adults and 59% of adolescents who can show signs of periodontal disease. Therefore, we all agree the early diagnosis and treatment are crucial for maintenance of periodontal health. Now, coming to the statistics where we have seen the prevalence and extent of the disease, the next challenge would be managing it. So the World Health Organization estimates that oral diseases are the 4th most costly diseases to be treated in the most industrialized countries. And about this particular problem, it's not just limited to any one country, it is spread across the globe. When it comes to Indian scenario, we have around 72% of the population which resides in a rural area. And the main issue with this population is the rural population has minimal or no access to private dental health sector, which can pose an immense challenge in trying to maintain their periodontal health or treat their dental needs. So the management of periodontal disease, we all know, includes both surgical and non-surgical. And the key to halt the periodontal disease progression is by effective plaque control, either mechanically by use of toothbrush or floss, or chemically by use of mouth rinses. Nevertheless, The lack of required skill and motivation among majority of the population renders mechanical plaque control ineffective and consequently highlighting the adjunctive use of chemicals for plaque control. In spite of all this, the dentists face an uphill task in treating periodontal disease because of its complexity and multifactorial etiology. The study increase in incidence of periodontal disease coupled with augmented antibiotic resistance by periodontal pathogens warrants a comprehensive alternative approach which is safe, efficient, and cost-effective. An array of Ayurvedic and herbal preparations are being used for oral hygiene procedures as well as for management of different oral diseases, which can be helpful in countering the problem what we are facing with the routine therapies. The properties like a broad biological action, low cost, and superior safety margin of the herbal products make them more preferable over the conventional drugs. Active ingredients of plants and their materials used in herbal preparations or products are perceived to have therapeutic benefits which can achieve antimicrobial, antiseptic, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, as well as anti-collagenase effects. So of late, we have been seeing a gaining popularity of complementary and alternative medicine above traditional allopathic medicine in the recent years. So this was a research published in the British Journal of Pharmacology in the year 2020, where they tried to find out the variation in the sales of herbal nutraceuticals by the US mainstream multi-outlet channels. So the table, as you can see, shows a definitive increase in sale of such herbal nutraceuticals, particularly aimed at achieving general health, weight loss, and managing certain systemic conditions. Now, amongst these, you can see the most commonly preferred herbal nutraceuticals are, you can see the role of turmeric, where we have a percentage change, a significant percentage of change or increased sales. Then apart from turmeric, we can also see green tea, ginger, aloe vera. So this has been a changing trend of late, where people are opting for the alternative medicines. So with this brief introduction, now let us see how now we can concentrate on the role of this herbal products or the Ayurvedic medications pertaining to periodontal disease management. Just as we discussed, where plaque control is considered to be the most significant aspect of managing periodontal diseases, Ayurveda advocates various therapeutic measures on a daily basis for maintaining oral health, which they broadly categorized into Gandusha, which is gargling or oil pulling, Jiva Lekhana, which is tongue scraping, and Dant Dhavani, which is brushing. So as far as brushing is concerned, more than 95% Indians suffer from gum diseases, and over 50% in the country do not use a toothbrush, as per a survey done by the Indian Dental Association in 2016. So that definitely is an alarming number. The use of chewing sticks was widely practiced since ancient times in India, the Middle East, and Africa. So you can see the difference why ancient times they had the process of using chewing sticks is because of the ease of availability, and which is definitely economical in nature. So the reason we can think of why 50% of the population are not yet using toothbrush could be the ability to afford a toothbrush and a toothpaste. So one alternative what our ancient times they had used is the use of chewing sticks. So among chewing sticks, Datun is considered to be an excellent substitute for toothbrush for dental plaque removal and prevention of orodental diseases. So as just we have discussed, the major advantages of Datun could be being economical. It possesses numerous therapeutic properties, and its ease of availability in most of the rural regions of India proved to be one of the advantageous points of using Datun. Similarly, Biswak is a chewing stick which is obtained from the tree, which is predominant in Muslim countries and predates the inception of Islam. So in a study by Al-Utaibi et al., they concluded that using miswak was more effective than an ordinary toothbrush, provided that proper instructions are followed regarding its usage. So that is more important. An in vivo study by Almas and Zeeb assessed the efficacy of miswak on Streptococcus mutans and Lactobacillus and concluded that the instant antimicrobial effect of miswak was strongly evident. Now coming to oil pulling or Gandusha. It involves swishing the oral cavity with oil to maintain oral and systemic health. Gandusha, as mentioned in Charaka Samhita, claims to alleviate a range of systemic diseases like migraine, diabetes, and asthma. Conventionally, since many years, halitosis and gingival bleeding were widely treated by oil pulling. So most commonly, the oil prepared from sunflower and sesame are used for oil pulling. Apart from it, nowadays, even coconut oil has been advocated for oil pulling. Oil pulling therapy is extremely valuable in managing the plaque-induced gingivitis when assessed in terms of clinical findings and microbial counts. Now coming to the etiopathogenesis of periodontal disease, there is a strong role played by the oxidative stress, which is a significant source of cell damage, which is linked with initiation and development of several chronic diseases, including periodontitis. A variety of antioxidant molecules consists of vitamin C, E, carotenoids, coenzyme Q, and enzymes like glutathione reductase, superoxide, etc. So use of exogenous supplements in the form of herbal antioxidants for the management of periodontal disease have been the focal point of research in the recent times. Now, paying attention to few of the commonly used Ayurvedic or herbal products which can be directed towards treating periodontal disease. So green tea of late has been one of the most popular herbal supplement in everyone's day-to-day life. The health promoting benefits are mainly attributed to the concentrated levels of polyphenols, which have excellent antioxidant properties. So these polyphenols are categorized into 6 types of catechins as evident, which is catechin, gallocatechin, epicatechin, epigallocatechin, epicatechin gallate, and epigalactocatechin gallate. So amongst all this, the EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate, has been extensively researched owing to its potent antioxidant property. Apart from this, there are other compounds like carotenoids, tocopherols, ascorbic acid, and minerals such as zinc, selenium, chromium, and certain phytochemicals. So what are the beneficial effects of this various green tea components? So they help in antioxidative properties. It helps in inhibiting pro-oxidant enzymes, which induces antioxidant enzymes, which lead to scavenging of our reactive oxygen species and the nitrogen species. The green tea catechins have proven to be exhibiting predominant effect on periodontal pathogens. The literature suggests that catechins inactivate P. gingivalis induced collagenase. Similarly, catechins in green tea successfully inhibited the growth of P. gingivalis, Prevotella intermedia, Prevotella nigrescens, and also thwarts the addition of P. gingivalis onto the buccal epithelial cells of humans, which is demonstrated in few in vitro studies. So these catechins are remarkably effective in managing periodontal disease by suppressing the inflammatory response mediated bone resorption. Green tea, when used in the form of dentifrice or a local drug delivery agent, improved the oral health status of chronic periodontitis patients. Similarly, green tea, when used as a mouthwash for a period of 1 week, had a similar anti-plaque efficiency to that of chlorhexidine gluconate, which is considered to be a gold standard. So these encouraging results demonstrate that additional research is essential to explore the further advantages of green tea in managing periodontal diseases. Coming to the next product, again, one very popular and commonly used product is turmeric, which is known as curcumin longa or haldi. It is well known as sarvoshadi in Sanskrit, meaning medicine for all diseases. It has been traditionally used in India since the past 2500 years and is known for its actions like being antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, painkiller, and a hepatoprotectant. The recent research in humans illustrates that the precancerous changes in oral submucous fibrosis patients can be reversed with use of turmeric extract and turmeric oil. Rinsing the oral cavity with turmeric water, which could be prepared by 5 grams of turmeric powder, 2 cloves, and 2 dried leaves of guava in 200 grams of water, provides an instant pain relief. A powder made from the burnt turmeric pieces, when used intraorally, is proven to provide strength to the teeth and gums. So there is also paste preparation with the help of 1 teaspoon of turmeric, half teaspoon of mustard oil, and half teaspoon of salt, which when used twice daily by rubbing the gums provides relief from gingivitis and periodontitis. Similarly, it is also a part of a dental plaque detection system. It consists of curcumin and turmeric extract and a yellow pigment of Benicoji, along with a light emanating apparatus, which emits a 250 to 500 nanometer wavelength light, which helps in detecting the dental plaque. So after turmeric, we move ahead to amla, which is also known as Embolica officinalis, or popularly the Indian gooseberry. So amla extract can be taken orally to an extent of 0.5 grams per day for long-term benefits for teeth and gums. The vitamin C present in amla acts as a cofactor in the conversion of proline into hydroxyproline, which is one of the essential constituents of connective tissue. Chyawanprash and Triphala are generally the two frequently utilized Ayurvedic preparations containing amla. Its antioxidant and astringent properties are demonstrated to be valuable in the management of toothache, aphthous stomatitis, mouth ulcers, and gingival inflammation. Then one more favorite fruit is anar and dalima for majority of the population. So this pomegranate fruit, including its peel, seeds, oil, powdered extracts, and juice, have tremendous medicinal properties which exhibit absolutely no side effects. So the flavonoids in this pomegranate have anti-inflammatory and antibacterial properties and have antioxidant and antiviral properties as well. So the antibacterial action of Punica granatum is attributed to the presence of ellagitananin and punicalagin. Studies have shown that the extract of pomegranate, when used as a mouth rinse, showed the capacity to remove dental plaque, increased antioxidant activity, decreased activity of aspartate aminotransferase and proteins, and it inhibited major periodontal pathogens like P. gingivalis, P. intermedia, and Aggregatibacter actinomycetum cumitans. Pomegranate extract gel, when used as an adjunctive treatment option along with scaling and root planing, significantly reduces the inflammatory status of gingiva, as quoted in the literature. Then we have one more household item, the long or clove, which is also known as Syzygium aromatic. So the clove oil can be used to treat oral ulcers and sore gums due to its gentle anesthetic property. It also battles oral infections and inflammation because of its strong antibacterial activity, and it also decreases halitosis. Eugenol is considered as an active component and also contains a variety of flavonoids. Hence, it is extensively used as temporary healing in conjunction with root canal therapy, intraoral abscess, and painful gums. Then we have gotu kola, which is known as Centinella asiatica, which is playing a very important role in promoting the growth of connective tissue and aids in wound healing, which is effective in treatment of oral ulcers. So treatment of chronic periodontitis with Centinella asiatica and Punica granatum in the form of biodegradable chips showed a significant improvement in decreasing the plaque, pocket depth, and loss of attachment at the end of 3 months when compared with a placebo. It can also be used in enhancing the recuperation after laser surgical procedures used for treating severe periodontal disease. So daily suggested dosage is 30 milligrams of triterpenoids 2 times, and it may vary depending on the content of triterpenic acid. Then we have one more common fruit which has a tremendous medicinal ability, the mango, Mangifera indica. So the mango leaves, they exhibit antibacterial properties due to the presence of ascorbic and phenolic acids. It was found to be effective against anaerobic microorganisms such as Prevotella intermedia, Porphyromonas gingivalis, and therefore can be used as an adjunct in oral hygiene maintenance. In ancient times, or even now in the rural population, the mango leaves are also used as a tongue scraper, which are commonly indicated in the older age individuals. Then we have neem or Azadirachta indica, which is very high in antibacterial, anti-inflammatory property, analgesic property, antioxidant, antifungal, antiviral, and immunostimulant properties, all of which are well documented in the literature. It encompasses mechanical and chemotherapeutic anti-plaque agents. In a study by Anirban Chatterjee, they evaluated the anti-plaque efficacy of neem as oral rinse on gingivitis when used as an adjunctive therapy. They concluded that the presence of galantamines in neem could effectively decrease the bacterial count in dental plaque. The antibacterial plant extracts have an advantage over antibiotics as they produce no allergy nor exhibit any resistance. An herbal mouth rinse formulation prepared with active fractions from Azadirachta indica, Citrullus, and Cucumis sativus extract with a carrier or additive was effective in preventing the gingivitis and periodontal diseases. Then we have Tulsi, which is also known as Ocimum sanctum, which is found on a large scale in the India, Malaysia, West Africa, Australia, and some of the Arab countries. Majority of therapeutic actions of Tulsi are present in its leaves, while other parts of plants like flowers, stems, root, seeds, etc. are also known to have medicinal potential. The extract of Tulsi leaves includes 0.7% volatile oil, which comprise 70% eugenol and 20% methyl eugenol. The anti-inflammatory activity of Tulsi against prostaglandin E2, leukotrienes, and arachidonic acid-induced edema has been found due to the presence of fixed oil and linolenic acid. Tulsi leaves, when chewed raw, they help in maintaining the oral hygiene. Caracrol, tetpene, and sesquiterpene B caryophyllene are the antibacterial agents present in this plant. The powder of sun-dried Tulsi leaves or a mixture with mustard oil can be also used as a dentrifice. Coming to tila or sesame seeds, which is known as Sesamum indicum, they are highly rich in vitamin E and flavonoid phenolic antioxidants. Ashokan et al. Conducted a study on oil pulling therapy using sesame oil in managing gingivitis. They concluded that sesame oil significantly decreased the number of aerobic microorganisms, plaque index, and modified gingival scores in adolescents suffering from plaque-induced gingivitis. Then moving ahead with Triphala. Amalaki, Haritaki, and Bahera together constitute Triphala. At a concentration of 1500 micrograms per ml, it potently inhibits PMN type collagenase, especially the MMP9. It has shown good antimicrobial, antioxidant, and anticollagenase activities and is also used for strengthening the gums. The antioxidants in Triphala decrease the oxidative burden and prevent free radical induced cell damage. Bahera is the strongest antioxidant, followed by Amalaki and Haritaki. So a randomized clinical study demonstrated that Triphala mouthwash is as efficient as chlorhexidine 0.2% in anti-plaque and anti-inflammatory actions. Then we have tea tree oil, also known as Melaleuca oil. It has antibiotic properties, which helps in curing infection of the periodontal disease. It has been used to treat severe chronic gingivitis, bleeding gums, and halitosis as they deeply penetrate into the skin. Elgendi et al. In their randomized clinical trial used tea tree oil gel for local application in chronic periodontitis patients and proved it to be beneficial in augmenting the results of scaling and root canal. Furthermore, they emphasized on monitoring pentraxin levels in GCF as a marker of tissue healing following periodontal therapy. Moving ahead to Rumi mastagi or the mastic gum. It is recognized for its strong anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and bactericidal effects. The mastic extract significantly inhibited potential periodontal pathogens, namely P. gingivalis, S. oralis, and A. F. nucleatum, and PI. Therefore, it could be considered a viable antibacterial agent in the management of periodontal disease. Wheatgrass is a young grass shoot of Triticum aestivum plant, which exhibits antioxidant, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory properties. Wheatgrass juice or wheatgrass supplement is known to prevent gingivitis and periodontal disease, thereby eliminating bacteria in the oral cavity. Golden seal is an effective antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal agent, which acts as an astringent and also helps in treating gingivitis. Using a rinse prepared from 1 teaspoon dissolved in water or applying the golden seal powder directly to the gums is believed to be effective for many gum problems, including canker sores. Bandari et al. In their in vitro study established that the golden seal extract exhibits promising antibacterial activity against selected periodontal pathogens. Licorice root. The ADA considers that the antibacterial and antiviral properties of licorice restrains plaque buildup and therefore helps in management of periodontal disease, oral ulcers, and canker sores. Licorice root powder, paste, and decoction for mouthwash are one of the best for managing inflammation in periodontal disease. However, it can cause side effects and some unfavorable drug interactions and therefore should be used with a degree of caution and in consultation with a healthcare specialist. Ala Omran Ali et al. Concluded that a mouthwash containing licorice extract reduced the amount of plaque and gingival inflammation, and it can be used for prolonged duration with no side effects as an adjunct to scaling and root planing in the management of periodontal diseases. Moving ahead to myrrh or Camphora ghilandinis. It has been used since prehistoric times for a variety of medicinal reasons like inflamed gums, canker sores, throat and nasal infections, and breathing issues. Hence, one of the excellent methods to lessen bacteria and preserve oral health is a mixture of myrrh oil with warm water as a mouthwash. Hossam A. Eid et al. Stated that myrrh plant extract showed potential antibacterial property. It also exhibited significant results in controlling the biofilm of S mutants, which supposedly plays a major role in the etiopathogenesis of caries and periodontal disease. Moving ahead to Psidium gajwa, which is nothing but guava, which is principally rich in vitamin C and therefore exhibits an excellent antioxidant property. Its antioxidant action is augmented by presence of carotenoids, quercetin, and polyphenols. The extract of guava leaves and essential oil from its stem act as scavengers and aid in the inhibition of hydroxyl radicals. A decoction prepared from the root bark or leaves can be recommended as a mouth rinse, which can effectively manage the bleeding gums. Then we have Ginkgo biloba, a leaf extract which is used extensively as an herbal medicine in the US. It is composed of terpenoids, ginkgo, flavone, glycosides, and ginkgolic acid. It acts as a scavenger of free radicals and helps in lowering the oxidative stress and exhibits anti-inflammatory effect. Cesar Yu et al. Stated in the ligature-induced periodontitis rat model, systemic administration of EGB reduced the osteoclastic counts and decreased inflammation, induced osteoblastic activity. Then one more very popular natural product which is used in maintaining the general health is honey. It was recommended since primeval times in various cultures in treating infections and many medical ailments. The antibacterial factors of honey are mainly due to the hyperosmolarity effect, B defensin 1, methyl glyoxyl, hydrogen peroxide, acidic pH, and etc. However, the primary antimicrobial activity of honey is due to the presence of hydrogen peroxide. It helps in maintenance of healthy gums because of rich presence of minerals, vitamins, and other vital nutrients. The propolis mouthwash exhibited a potent antimicrobial activity against Staphylococcus mutans and can be prescribed as an alternative to the conventional mouthwashes in management of caries and periodontal diseases. Based on clinical and microbiological parameters, subgingival irrigation with propolis extract as an adjunct to periodontal treatment was proven to be effective than SRP alone. Similarly, Atwa AD et al. Suggested that honey is an effective substitute to conventional remedies in preventing gingivitis and caries following orthodontic treatment. Moving ahead to ginger, it is an effective agent as ibuprofen in controlling postoperative sequelae, especially pain, and is often an efficient substitute for these synthetic agents. Ginger supplementation alongside NSPT could be effective within the improvement of inflammation, oxidative and periodontal status in a type 2 diabetes mellitus patients with chronic periodontitis. Ginger was effective in reducing the colony forming units, and it presents as a gold standard for oral rinses like chlorhexidine. A rinse derived from ginger was equally efficacious in reducing the colony forming units of lactobacillus. Ginger may be a promising anti-karyogenic and antimicrobial mouth rinse with active ingredients and may offer a low cost yet safe caries inhibitory agent compared to the traditional mouth rinses. Moving ahead to aloe vera. Aloe vera gel was effective in maintaining the viability of periodontal ligament cells. Aloe vera in the toothpaste may have an equivalent effect on periodontal index and gingival scores as a fluoride toothpaste, so it is often used rather than conventional chemical toothpaste. Guava leaf extract showed significant inhibitory effects against Enterococcus faecalis and Candida albicans when compared to the extract of aloe vera. Toothpaste containing aloe vera was powerful in reducing plaque, gingivitis, and overall candidal counts compared to triclosan. Moreover, individuals treated with aloe vera experienced improved oral health status with non-negative side effects. Moving ahead to eucalyptus. It performs a significant maximum zone of inhibition against organisms like EAA and P. gingivalis. Eucalyptus also plays an effective, promising alternative to antibiotics within the prevention of oral infections due to the natural phytochemicals present in them. Serafino et al. Demonstrates that eucalyptus oil can stimulate the innate cell-mediated immune response, suggesting it can be used as an adjuvant in immunosuppression, in communicable disease, and also in tumor chemotherapy. The antibacterial action of eucalyptus oil helps in management of colds, influenza, and other respiratory infections, rhinitis, sinusitis, etc. Ragul et al. Stated that the mouthwash containing eucalyptus oil was similarly effective as chlorhexidine mouthwash in plaque control and therefore can be considered as a good and economical oral hygiene aid. So apart from this, the other herbs which can be potentially used for treating periodontal diseases are Cymbopogon citratus or lemongrass, garlic, Allium sativum, or curry leaves, etc. Even though several studies have revealed the effectiveness of herbal medicines as a substitute to an established therapeutic procedure, the clinical application of such agents is yet to be supported by ample evidence. So with this brief overview, moving ahead to conclude the current topic. As per Ayurvedic classics, a variety of herbs are recommended for controlling and management of periodontal diseases. According to the estimates of WHO, around 75% people worldwide use herbs for their fundamental healthcare needs. WHO has recommended for the incorporation of traditional system of medicines like Ayurveda into the primary healthcare system among communities who accept it. All the Ayurvedic medicines and local remedies discussed above are easily accessible in the rural areas where socioeconomic conditions of people are not so good. So the Ayurveda must be reinterpreted in the light of new emerging knowledge and must be incorporated in modern medicine along with other forms of traditional medicine. The key, however, is to figure out what works best for the treatment of the patient. Additional studies on plaque inhibiting effect of various herbal formulations are obligatory to establish the duration of action. Herbal products may vary in their effectiveness, therefore, it is necessary to select herbal preparations carefully. Herbs and their extracts can be used as an adjuvant in periodontal disease treatment. So I would like to end with a quote by Tarangini. If plants can provide food for our survival, they surely can provide medicines to cure our diseases as well. Let's go herbal. With this, I end my presentation and I thank you all for your patient listening. And these are the list of my references. Thank you.